Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we're kicking off something that became an idea after my trip to the Glasgow Watch Show a few weeks ago. I met some incredible British founders, handled some brilliant pieces, and somewhere between the handshakes and the wrist shots I thought, hang on, British watchmaking is absolutely smashing it right now. So this new series is my tiny contribution to shining a light on the amazing work happening right here in Britain. And fittingly, we're starting with a watch I actually bought after the show, the Marloe Skysplitter. Yes, I went in just to browse, and yes, my wallet never stood a chance. But in this review, I'll tell you exactly why this one hit all the right notes for me. Now, I'm hoping this becomes a proper multi-part series featuring more British brands, but that does depend on them sending me watches. Because as much as I'd love to, I can't buy every watch, and YouTube isn't the goldmine everyone thinks it is. So let's crack on and find out what I like about the Skysplitter. And while you're here, please support the channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. It really helps keep this journey going. Moving on to my initial thoughts, and before I get into why the Skysplitter grabbed my attention at the Glasgow Watch Show, I have to quickly mention the packaging, because honestly you can tell Marlowe put real thought into this one. The unboxing genuinely put a smile on my face. I love how it opens like a book with proper dedicated slots for the straps and the watch itself. It's a small thing, but it's a classy touch. Now, three things made me realize this watch needed to join the collection. First, you all know I'm a sucker for a proper tool watch, and this bead blasted matte finish with the anti-fingerprint coating just screams exactly that. Second is the sizing. At 14mm, it hits that Goldilocks zone for me, but thanks to the pinched lug design, it actually wears even smaller and more compact on the wrist. And lastly, the dial, multi-layered, interesting, different, is the kind of dial you keep coming back to. We'll dive deeper into that later in the review. Oh, and one more thing, I could tell immediately this would be a strap monster. Steel, leather, and my personal favorite, a dark grey NATO. It just works on everything. When you start digging into the specs, the Skysplitter begins to make even more sense. This particular model is a limited edition, and while I'm not entirely sure what Marlowe has planned after this run, I have to believe they'll keep this line alive in some form. For £599, you're getting the Miyota 9075 with around 42 hours of power reserve. This is a true GMT, a proper traveler's GMT, and the regulation on my unit has been impressive. Before filming these shots, it ran for a full week straight, and I never once felt the need to correct the time. Now let's move on to the dimensions, because at 40mm this makes for a perfect size. The lug to lug is 46.7mm, the case thickness is 12.45mm, and a handy lug width of 20mm makes this the perfect strap monster. The dial on the Skysplitter is where things get seriously interesting. It's a multi-layered design inspired by the Airbus A400M Atlas, and Marlowe calls it a cockpit-ready dial. To me, it's just bloody cool. You've got a GMT ring split into grey for night and teal for day, with bold yellow 24-hour markers that match perfectly with the yellow GMT hand. The matte grey base style plays beautifully with the strong white and grey handset, and when you put it all together, you get this multi-dimensional depth that feels unique, modern, and quietly confident. It's one of those dials that doesn't shout, it just knows it looks good. The case is made from 316L stainless steel and has that unmistakable military tool aesthetic. All flat surfaces, sharp angles, and purpose-built geometry. Even the crown looks like it belongs in a cockpit or mounted on a piece of equipment, with its chunky knurling and grippy, no-nonsense feel. Polished surfaces are kept to an absolute minimum, which is exactly what drew me in. Aside from the bezel edge, the top case line and the case back, everything else is bead blasted and matte finished. It's tool watch energy from every angle. The bracelet is an H-link design with solid steel screw links, and the quick release spring bars make swapping straps completely tool-free. The folding clasp carries a subtle Marlowe engraving, and more importantly features an on-the-go micro-adjust system, so you can fine-tune the fit in seconds as your wrist changes throughout the day. Flip it over and the case back has a lovely touch, the Skysplitter logo, along with the serial number markings giving you that little reminder you're wearing something limited and thoughtfully made. Moving on to the wrist check part of the review, here it is on my 7.5-inch wrist on the super comfortable steel bracelet, as well as the supplied leather strap. I chose the black and grey stitch, but there are other offerings as well from Marloe. And my favourite for nearly all my tool watches is the dark grey NATO strap. I think it just works perfectly with any tool watch, and especially with this grey dial. In all honesty, this watch will spend most of its time on the bracelet and on the NATO. Moving on to Lume, and do I have something special for you Lume junkies out there? The Lume on this watch is sharp, crisp, and adds to the nighttime character. Marloe does not specify what Lume has been applied, but to you and me this looks a lot like BGW9 with that bright blue tone. I like how the altimeter markings near the date window are also lumed. However, if I were to find any fault here, it would be that the GMT hand could also do with some nighttime glow. Hardly a deal breaker, and I am nitpicking, but it's something I definitely noticed. Moving on to final thoughts. The Glasgow Watch Show was a real eye-opener for me. I knew British watchmaking existed, of course I did, but I didn't realize just how many new and heritage brands were out there, all with their own design language, their own quirks, and their own brilliant personalities. It felt like discovering a secret club I should have joined years ago. And honestly, by the time I sat in my Uber back to Glasgow Airport, I'd already made up my mind. This series has to happen. Being British, I felt that little spark, this responsibility to do whatever I can in my own small YouTube-shaped way to promote the incredible watchmaking happening right here on our shores. This Marloe Skysplitter is just the beginning. It's one of many British-made or British-designed watches that will find their way into my collection. Now that doesn't mean I'm suddenly going full Union Jack on the wrist. In fact, I've just bought a very special Swiss piece that'll soon be on the channel. But it does mean I'm paying a lot more attention to what's happening in my own backyard. Because here's the truth, we often look beyond our borders for inspiration, for direction, and for the next big thing. But after Glasgow, I'm convinced, absolutely convinced, that we have a fantastic watchmaking industry right here in Britain that deserves far more attention from collectors and enthusiasts alike. This is planned to be a multi-part series, and a lot of that depends on how many British brands are willing to loan me watches for review. And for that to happen, I need your support, I really do. So hit the like and subscribe buttons, share the video, leave a comment. All of that genuinely helps. Let's get some momentum here and appreciate what's on offer in Old Blighty. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, let's make this happen, and until next time, keep on ticking folks.